Senegal rises. Afrique rises. How bad was the Gates really? Yes, it was only a friendly. Yes, it was only a friendly. It wasn't a competitive game. There wasn't a semi, a World Cup quarterfinal, a final, so forth. But it's still significant. And you know what? You see, I'm coming from a different angle here. The first African team ever to beat England. I want to be clear here. It's a two flex. On one hand, that's not a big deal because England isn't Germany. England isn't Brazil. England isn't, or let's say an Argentina now, or an Israel, what they used to be. In terms of a footballing powers, England are not a footballing powers, or like a Spain. Teams who consistently win trophies and consistently say what's up and really get to finals. Or either get to finals or win trophies. So in that sense, beating England is not a big deal. But it is a big deal when you add colonial tax. And I'm going to add colonial tax. I'm going to talk a bit more about the colonial tax. So from a footballing point of view, no, England is not a major. It's like beating Portugal. It's not really a big deal because last time England won a major trophy was in 1966. But in terms of the pull that England have, in terms of the colonial tax that they have, in terms of the people that they can pull from colonies and immigration tax, it is a massive deal. It is a huge freaking deal. And I'm going to shout out to your boys Papatio. So I think that, for Senegal, look, because I want to talk more about Africa, but look, it's a big deal because it's all about what's okay. So this is a deep convo, and it's something that I've been thinking about for a very, very long time, and it's a question that I keep on getting asked. Anytime like we have international breaks, I keep on getting asked this question: when will Africa win a World Cup? Can an African side win a World Cup? And my answer has been the same for the past few years, which is it will never happen, based purely on colonial tax. Like, if you ask me this question in the 90s, I'd be like, oh no, there's a chance. And I want to build up upon there because that's a bit more deeper of what that's about. But look, shout out to Senegal. So here's the thing here. How bad was it really? How bad was Southgate really? Now, like, people will rush to, Southgate would have never lost to Senegal. And the last time they faced Senegal, they beat them 3-0, although in a competitive game. So you have to add context here. You can say, how bad was the Gates really? Have we downgraded in getting the Tuchel? But the other hand is, Tuchel isn't here to beat teams in friendlies. Tuchel isn't here to beat Andorra 5-0 or 6-0. The Tuchel is here to win the World Cup. So it's not about how well they play. It's about once you're in the World Cup, winning the World Cup. He is purely here to take that last step, which is to win the World Cup. Now, you know how I stand here. England should have never sacked Southgate. Southgate was never the issue. The issue was always the players, the mentality, and the personnel. And I will be proven right. I may be proven wrong. Because, see, this is something that people have to understand here. If England don't win a trophy, how much better was Tuchel than Southgate? I'm sorry. Last I checked, Southgate took a team to a final and they lost on penalties. So those three guys are to blame. Last I checked, when you're in a final, whatever the tactics are, your players have to rise to the occasion. People have to grab you by the scruff of the neck, which is what Palmer did in that Euro final, which is what Bellingham did in that Euro final. Kane, where you are, baby. Where you are. So, Kane, you can start part all you want in these qualification games. But when it comes to Euro finals, World Cup finals, your top tier players have to rip up the clipboard and be like, what's up? Let me ride. That is what you have to freaking do. So, my thing is, this, when we say, okay, this is like, England haven't looked great. I mean, you're struggling against freaking Andorra. You see, Struggling against Andorra the Explorer is insane. Because let's be real, nobody's repping Andorra the Explorer. And in a World Cup featuring every single galaxy and Milky Way, Andorra the Explorer ain't sniffing that World Cup next summer. That's going to consist of every single galaxy in the universe. But Tuchel is here to win the World Cup. Tuchel is here to win the Euros. He's here to deliver a trophy. And until he fails to do that, he hasn't failed. It doesn't look great, it doesn't look nice, it doesn't fail. But this is an L. Losing to Senegal, being England, with the colonial power and the colonial pull you have, at the crib, is embarrassing. That is disgraceful. And sorry, there is no excuse to be an England national side playing at home with all the talent you have, losing to Senegal. There's no excuse. I know what's so crazy. This is where it gets just slightly confessional. Because let's be on the edge. Basically, call me half edge. Whenever I see these games against like an African side, an England side, do you know who I look at? I look at Saka. I look at Eze. I look at Bellingham, sort of. And I'm like, Because I just look at a side full of just all blacks. Dark-skinned blacks. And I look at the other side of these people. Because, I mean, for people who don't know about England, it's like a sort of a split. There are people who are like, once you play for England, you are English. And you represent England. Black, brown, white, whatever, you are fully English. And there are many people who believe that. Shout out to my guy, Bill. But then there are the Nigel Farages of the world. And then there are the reformers of the world who are like, yeah, you represent England and you better do well. The moment you don't do well, you're an African. You're a monkey. You're a baboon. And you're a colonial slave merchant. The moment you do badly. Now, for our guys who do badly, they're fine. But once you do badly, you're an African. So I think that, for some of those people, it's like, no, it is a privilege that with your dark skin, you are wearing the Three Lions shirts. So whenever I just look at an African side and I look at the side, I'm like, I'll just find it interesting. And you know what? I'm not one of those guys that says you are Judas. Like, my whole Judas state of mind is gone because I don't know how you've grown up. I don't know your cultural background. I don't know your past. I don't know whether you have more connection to English society than you do with Nigerian, Ghanaian, Senegalese, or so forth. But it's just so interesting looking at just those Senegalese sides. I'm just looking at the coaches. I'm looking at the players. Other than I just look at England and just look at the setup there. It's just an interesting juxtaposition. But that way, it's an interesting juxtaposition. Because I always say, and this last to say this is that if you're black and you play for England, you're never really going to be looked at like Kane. No matter how good you are, you'll never be looked at like Kane, like Rooney, like Gascoigne, like Bex, like Lampard, like Gerrard, like Terry. It is just what it is. So huge. You see, I'm one of those guys who says this is international football. And for international football, I want to face people of your country and managers of your country of origin. So I'll give you a good example here that will be slightly different. 94 World Cup. Our manager was Clemens Westerhoff, who's Dutch. But he had lived in Nigeria for such a long time. He had a Nigerian wife who actually sat next to on a plane one time. That once you're so embedded into Nigerian culture, that could be a nice caveat. But ideally, there should be a rule where the manager of your origin should be the manager of the national side. But for Papatio, this is a huge job. Obviously taking over Ali Cisse, because Ali Cisse is now the head coach of Libya. So again, he has massive shoes to fill of Alusisi. But for Papatio, for getting this win, this is massive. This is massive because history would say that you led a Senegalese side who was the first African side to beat England. Not only beat them, but to beat them on home soil. Competitive or not competitive, that goes down in history. And for someone like this to do that, who is of origin of Senegal, it's freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. So my thing is that, and that is why it's so important because I want to just check that he's actually Senegalese. Hold on, Papetio, because this is very key. Papetio. Yes, he's a Senegal. So he's from Senegal. He's a Senegal. So for me, key. But look, guys, I'll keep it real. Okay, you want me to keep it real? Seeing a black man, an African man, and an African man coaching his country to a W against a colonial power like England, I'm sorry, that's a W. Guys, hate me all you want. Downvote me all you want. Hate me all you want. I'm sorry. The optics of that is just freaking amazing. Say all you want. Say, black, black. I don't give a damn. Guys, I could care less. Seeing that is freaking amazing. Just when you just look at the colonial past, the colonial history, and why it's kids was at the start. This win is huge. Not because of how amazing England are as a football nation, because they aren't, because the last time they won was in 1966, was because I believe this is England's best ever generation. Forget the past. This England generation is the best ever. The amount of talent they have is ridiculous. So it is their first ever truly golden generation. And bro, based on whether it's from the West Indies, whether it's from Jamaica, whether it's from Nigeria, whether it's from Ghana, the kind of people that can pull, you can pull from the indigenous guys from England, from Jamaica, from West Indies, from from Nigeria, from Ghana. So the amounts of talents that they can pull from dwarfs what Senegal can pull from. Senegal, how many guys who like Senegalese are playing for France? Because, bro, I remember that France-Senegal game. And I remember how significant that was for Senegal to beat France based on just the Senegalese people who were playing for France. And I believe Vieira might be Senegalese, I believe. So that was huge. So and this is why I always say that it's very hard for an African side to win a World Cup because we are just playing a losing game. Because so if we have like an amazing talent, let's say you have an amazing Senegalese talent, he may already be in France. And that amazing Senegalese talent may believe that the best chance he has of winning a trophy is in the French system. So, and if you have a truly amazing Senegalese talent, he'll be snapped up by France rather than a Senegal, and he may just choose to play for France over a Senegal. So, for Senegal to win is where you don't have as much talent to pull from as opposed to an England. It is a massive win. So make no mistake, for Papatio to beat England based on the talent they can pull from, as opposed to the talents that Papatio can pull from, it is a massive win for Senegal. Absolutely huge. And bro, it's as a fellow West African, I'm proud. As a fellow West African, I'm proud of what this guy did. So it is a huge, huge, massive dub, man. So it's a whole Africa thing, man. So here's the thing, and this is what I said before. Shout out to Morocco. Like, what Morocco did in 2022 was nothing short of amazing. It was absolutely outstanding, and you just have to be proud of what they were able to do. To be the first African side to make it to the semis, and it was a very close game against France. A very, very close game. Like, they were never going to beat Argentina, but still make it to the semis was huge. An African side can't win a World Cup because we are playing such a losing battle. Like, the only way an African can say what's up is if you fight really hard to keep our best talents. But when you just look at French, English scouts who are already going into Africa and are like, that's 8-year-old, he's really good, let's poach him up. And this is the key. See, for North Africa, it's a bit different, because the conditions growing up there may not be as different as West Africa. But in West Africa, where it's a lot harsher, it's a lot poorer. I can speak from experience in Nigeria. For people growing up in Nigeria and hustling and struggling, even from a rich family, like bro, if I'm a good football player, I can go abroad and have a better life as opposed to just hustling in Nigeria. So if because then again you need talents, you need personnel. Like, why was that Cameroon team in 1990 so good? Because they had quality players. Why was that Nigeria team from 94 to 98 so good? Because we have special players. But if those special talents are now being poached by an England, a France, or a Germany, we're screwed. We're screwed. You know, we're screwed. So I'll keep it real with you. It is more likely a North African side makes it all the way through than the West African side. Because I think that for the North Africans, there's a better, more concerted effort to keep their talents and to grab their talents before a France nabs them. As opposed to West Africa, where I don't know whether there is a proper concerted effort to maintain, hone your talents, or even develop talents and really keep them there and ensure that they actually play for a Ghana, a Senegal, a Cote d'Ivoire, a Nigeria, a Cameroon, and everything. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but 100%, like, my dream, my hope is one day to see an African side win the world. Obviously, ideally, is Nigeria. Ideally, to see Nigeria, if Nigeria win the World Cup, I'm done. That's it. I tell you right now, I don't need to do football hot anymore. Literally, that will be my last day of doing football because for me, that's when you know what life is complete. I'm done. I'm done and finished. So, but just to see, but I doubt I'll ever see an African side win the World Cup. But my dream, one of my dreams and wishes, is to see an African side lift up the World Cup because I believe that will be one of my wishes to see that happen. And I pray and I hope that I'm alive to see that happen. But the way that talent is, and the amount of Nigerians, Ghanaians, Cameroonians, guys from Ivory Coast, guys, I just learned that Desiree Doué is half Ivory Coast, half Cote d'Ivoire. Who does he play for now? France. That's an amazing young talent play for France. Yamal, half Ghanaian, half Moroccan, plays for neither Guinea or Morocco. Who does he play for? Spain. And he's one. And what do you mean one of? He's the best player in the world. So a guy who is the best player in the world could have played for either Guinea or Morocco. Now for Guinea, imagine if Yamal played for Morocco. Look at how good Morocco already are. Morocco, who made the World Cup semis, and imagine if you now add the best player in the world to that Moroccan side with the already amazing talents that they now have, with another one wanting to join Real Madrid. Then if that happens, Morocco have a real shot at actually doing something. But you see what the issue is. Morocco could have had one of the best times we've ever seen. But where does he now play for? Spain. A powerhouse. We're fighting a losing battle. As Africans, we're fighting a losing battle. Man. Where was it? So my thing is, hold on, where we at? Let me end it here with your boy, the Gates man. I need to explain this to English people right now. Southgate was never the issue. Scaloni is not amazing. Please listen to me clearly. Scaloni is not an amazing manager. He's pretty good. He's not amazing. He'll not go on as one of the great managers ever. He won't. Neither will a Scolari or any of these dudes or neither with a Yogi Love. You just need the right man. You just need the right man. You don't need the best manager in the world. You just need to have the right manager in the world. Of course, Tuchel is better than Southgate. Of course, it's 100%. His record says it. But is Tuchel the right man for England? Southgate is not nowhere close to the kind of manager that Tuchel is. But Southgate is the right man for England. Bro, I swear to you right now, let Scaloni coach an Atleti. He will not do the kind of job that Simeone is doing. No way. Impossible. Put Simeone in for Argentina. I don't think he'll do a better job than Scaloni. Simeone is a better manager than Scaloni, but Scaloni is just the right man for that Argentina team. The right man is not the best manager in the world. He's just the right guy. Southgate was the right guy. And the reason they lost those finals was not due to tactics. They lost those finals because those players were not ready to step up and say what's up. And the players even said it themselves. But England always want to find a scapegoat that isn't one of those players. Because they don't want to admit that. Is this always the manager's fault? Or do these players need to take some blame? Because once you now force the players to take accountability, then the players will be like, oh, wait, hang up. This is a World Cup final. Oh, this is a Euro final. We need to step up. We need to step up. Because my thing though is, if you look at that France-Argentina final, of course, Scaloni put his tactics they were superb, they were amazing. But those guys knew what time it was. Messi knew what time it was. Bro, for Deschamps, he messed up with the lineup. He made some changes which obviously did help. But even with those changes, Mbappe knew what time it was. And if Mbappe did not know what time it was, it doesn't matter what Thuram or any of those guys would have done. France would have been smoked 3 or 4-0 in that final. The players have to step up. So you can bring in Tuchel, guys. I can see this thoroughly. I will be shocked if England win a trophy under Tuchel. I will be shocked. And I will not be shocked if these guys don't even make a final under Tuchel. Because they're like, oh, Southgate is not so good. Let's get a guy who's won the Champions League and a guy who's a tactician. Okay, it's on the surface, it makes sense. On the surface, it makes sense. This is not the Champions League. This is not PSG. This is not Chelsea. This is international football. And this is the England national side. So it is a whole different situation you're dealing with here. But, say it again, Tuchel hasn't failed yet. So yes, Andorra, losing Senegal, boom, he hasn't failed yet. And I mean right now, if Tuchel makes a final and he loses, he's not done any better than Southgate. Whether he loses on penalties or 3-0, 3-2, if Tuchel doesn't win a trophy, he hasn't done better than Southgate. The only way that Tuchel does better than Southgate is if he wins a trophy. Because Southgate made two finals. And in those 2 finals, yeah, he could have done with the tactics. The main reason those 2 finals was because the players underperformed. And that guy that you pump up called Harry Kane, the captain, the leader, the star, was freaking garbage. So if your main man, the main guy on your team, your main goal scorer, has 3 or 4 touches in 90 minutes and it's garbage in that final, what's he supposed to do? As a manager and my coach, I'm here to give you a blueprint, but I assume my superstars, my main guys to say what's up. Insult him all you want. Nations League final, Cristiano said what's up. And maybe 40-year-old, bad back, hip replacement, old folks home, I'm still going to get my team back at the game. I'm still going to contribute and say what's up. It's what the big players do. But if you're relying on Kane, which is why I say no, you rely on Bellingham. Forget Kane. Kane is just there to start part. Tuchel is looking at Bellingham saying, no, Bellingham, you're my guy. Forget Kane. He's just there to start part. You're my guy. We go as far as you take us. Because Bellingham is the face of this team. Forget Kane, bro. Forget that guy. That guy's a side chick, bro. Like, Kane is there to serve Bellingham. Like, Kane is Bellingham's servant. You're there to serve Bellingham. So know your freaking role. Bow down and serve him, because this is Bellingham's team. And I think Tuchel has to say to Bellingham, no, you are the leader of this team. You are the face of this team. And when it comes to those big games, forget that guy Kane. It's about you. And everybody follows your lead. As they follow Messi's lead, Cristiano's lead, Yamal's lead for Spain, Mbappe's lead for France, they follow your lead, Bellingham. You have to be the guy because you're the face of the team. It is what it is, man. Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.